There are quiet tyrannies we live under, ones we do not name because they have no flags, no rulers, no armies. Yet they govern our decisions, shape our reactions, and numb our passions. These tyrannies whisper rather than command. That's not right, that's inappropriate, or that's shameful. From a young age we are handed a rule book, unlabeled, often invisible. We do not read it, we absorb it, sometimes with love, sometimes with fear. We're told what's polite, what's obscene, what is proper or indecent, without the invitation to ask why. Why is ambition prideful? Why is sensuality shameful? Why is it wrong to put yourself first? These questions rarely surface in childhood, not because they're unthinkable, but because they're unaskable in the environment where the rules are laid. To question the morality we inherit feels like blasphemy, a betrayal of the very people who raised us. So we carry it into adulthood, folded like a map we never unfold, assuming it still leads somewhere meaningful. But morality is not supposed to be a hand-me-down. There are ideas in your mind that don't belong to you. They entered without permission during your earliest years, before you could reason, reflect, or defend yourself. You adopted them not by choice but by osmosis, through imitation, fear of punishment, or a desire to be loved. You didn't question them then, and the uncomfortable truth is, you probably still haven't. The people we inherited our morals from were not ill-willed. In fact, many of them loved us deeply. They passed down rules and values not to imprison us, but to protect us, to help us navigate a world they themselves may have never fully understood. Often, they were simply repeating what had been taught to them, echoing lessons that once kept them safe, accepted, or just out of trouble. But good intentions do not guarantee lasting truth. Love can coexist with error, and the heart can be kind while still handing down invisible cages. To honor them does not mean we must obey everything they believed. It means recognizing their care, then using the tools they gave us to carve a wiser, more conscious path. Much of what we label as unethical or shameful isn't inherently wrong. It's culturally learned disapproval. Consider the discomfort many feel with discussing money, sexuality, or even ambition. These are not crimes, they're simply topics that, in certain upbringings, were associated with impropriety. But growing up doesn't automatically trigger a system update. The child's discomfort lingers like an outdated software bug. Ayn Rand, in her philosophy of Objectivism, argued that morality should be based not on obedience or guilt, but on rational self-interest. She believed that ethical values must be consciously chosen based on their role in supporting life, happiness, and individual flourishing, not inherited blindly. To Rand, conforming to social norms without examining their logical merit is a form of moral laziness. Living by unexamined shame, then, is not virtuous. It is a betrayal of one's rational potential. This is not a call for pure rebellion or narcissism. Rand's point, and the point here, is that your values should be chosen, not handed down. It takes a peculiar kind of courage, not the courage to fight demons, but to interrogate angels. The ones who told you, good boys do this, or nice girls don't do that. The ones whose smiles came with subtle rules. These weren't always malicious. In fact, that's what makes them so hard to question. They were often spoken with care, with warmth, and a genuine belief in their goodness. But being loved is not the same as being taught truth. And so we must revisit the altars of our childhood and ask, are the gods I worshipped still worthy of prayer? Sometimes literally. Do I call this unethical because it harmed someone, or because I was once punished for doing it? Do I call this shameful because it violates my reason, or because it made someone else uncomfortable once upon a time? There is no virtue in shame that serves no one. There is no nobility in calling immoral what is merely misaligned with an outdated script. Maybe the real revolution is a private moment where you catch yourself mid-thought, about to feel guilty for something harmless, and you stop. You pause, tilt your head, and ask, wait, why am I ashamed of this? And for the first time, no answer arrives with authority, just silence. And that is the first truly ethical act, to stop being a reflection of old expectations and start becoming someone who chooses their values with their eyes wide open, someone who lives not from habit, but from truth.